Hi, Tish here. School's out, but learning never ends. Today we talked about the Declaration of Independence. I wanted to share with you something very interesting about the Declaration that perhaps you might not know. So for so many years, I was just like you. I didn't understand how we could write in our Declaration all men are created equal when slavery was occurring, and how some of these men who wrote this document actually had slaves. It was hard for me to grasp until I learned that the founders actually wrote one clause in the Declaration that would end all slavery. It's fascinating to think about. What would our United States be like if we never had slavery? Let's go through the Declaration of Independence and talk about what is it. During the Revolutionary War, the battles were starting to heat up, and there was an emergency session of the Continental Congress where the founders got together and signed a petition telling the king that they are declaring themselves independent. Now, the Declaration of Independence has so many amazing facets to it, but basically it is a declaration telling the king that the colonists want to separate from England. It starts out this way: when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. So see here, it's talking about separating from England. And it goes on to say, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It goes on to say that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. The founders studied many different philosophies, including John Locke and Montesquieu, and they knew that our rights as citizens of America do not come from anything other than God Himself. They're unalienable. They are from God. And because we are human, we all have natural rights. And the founders are telling the king that they want to separate because we have the right to representation and to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, the rest of the Declaration goes on to state 28 ways that the king has infringed on the rights of the colonists. Things like taxation, quartering of soldiers in people's homes, shutting down Boston Harbor, no fair trials. The list goes on for 28 counts. Then it ends like this: and for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We know that all these men who signed this document were putting their lives, their fortunes on the line. If the war would have gone for the king and Parliament, we know that they would all have been killed as well as their families. So they put it all on the line for us. Now, what about this one portion? There was not just 28 28 different grievances against the king. There's actually 29. One of them didn't get put into the Declaration of Independence, and it was the slavery clause. John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Roger Sherman, Thomas Jefferson, and Robert Livingston all wrote the Declaration of Independence. In Jefferson's rough draft is the slavery clause. This is what it says. He has waged cruel war against human nature itself, violating its most sacred rights of life and liberty in the persons of a different people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery in another hemisphere, or to incur miserable death in their transportation thither. So this is saying the king brought the slaves here to this hemisphere. This piratical warfare, the opprobrium of infidel powers, is the warfare of the Christian king of Great Britain, determined to keep open a market where men should be bought and sold. He has prostituted his negative for suppressing every legislative attempt to prohibit or to restrain this execrable commerce, and that this assemblage of horrors might want no fact of distinguished dye. What this is saying is he has prostituted and suppressed every legislative attempt to stop slavery that the colonists have done. He would not allow them to stop it because he's making a lot of money, which shows me the founders did not want slavery in our land. It goes on to say he is now exciting these very people to rise up in arms among us and to purchase that liberty of which he has deprived them. Jefferson is saying here that the king is actually giving money or their freedom if they will fight in the revolution. So I think what I get out of this is that our founders, when the Declaration of Independence was put forth, they did not want to have slavery. They were willing to give it up. Madison, Jefferson, and Washington all would have signed the Declaration with the slavery clause, but there were two states that would not. That was South Carolina and Georgia. But Virginia would have signed it, as would have the 11 other colonies. What would our United States of America be like if we never had slavery? No Civil War where 400,000 died to set another man free. Martin Luther King Jr. would have probably lived to an old age. It's crazy to think about. Go make it a blessed day. I'm going to go home now and see Chachi Marie. Thanks for sharing this. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Remember, school's out, but learning never ends. Get in the car. Get in the car. Chachi, sit. Chachi, look. Sit. Good sit. Are you a good girl? Oh, it's over there.